Welcome to Freedom at the Top, the podcast where professionals from various industries come together to share their journey towards reaching peak potential. I'm your host, Rafael Ramos, and I'm excited to dive into insightful conversations with our guests. With Ego Summit Equity, this podcast aims to inspire and empower you to reach new heights in your personal and professional life. So sit back, relax, and let's enjoy the journey towards freedom at the top. Thank you to be on the Freedom at the Top show. We have Bernadette Saldana. Thank you again for your time being on the show and just being available to share value. So just a little bit about Bernadette. She's an educator, consultant, and a UC Irvine alumna. She is an admissions consultant, private music instructor. She's also an operations manager with Ego Summit Equity. From UCI, she has a Master of Arts in Teaching and preliminary multiple subject credential, Bachelor's of Science in Biology and Biological Sciences. Bernadette, we would just like to have you share, tell us a brief background about yourself, what brought you to be in education and education consulting, and what are you working on today?
Great. Thank you, Raphael. Yeah, thanks for that introduction. I really appreciate that because getting into education, I would say, is something that I was always passionate about since I was in high school, just knowing great teachers in my own life that have taught me about not only life skills, but even with knowledge about different subjects. So I was actually really passionate about biology at first. And so that's why I graduated with biological sciences, and I wanted to explore, different areas within healthcare, even, what it would look like to, find careers or jobs in the healthcare system. And then, just going through that time and period in college, I realized it was really valuable in research, but it wasn't a good fit for me. I realized more, instead of the research or instead of actually being in a hospital or pursuing that kind of career, I would rather actually work with students and teaching. And so, not only with the teachers in my own life, but I was actually during the summers, I would go to these different trips, not only from my church, but with different organizations from college. So, and teaching English in different countries. And I think that was also a part of the reason why I wanted to go into a Master's of Arts in Teaching, was because teaching different English programs, helping different students in different countries, whether it was elementary school, high school, or college, that was something that I really enjoyed, and also just saw just many great things from it. So I really just enjoyed teaching at that time, and just the whole education area, I really see the value in it. And today, what I'm working on is I'm still teaching privately with music and things like that, but I'm also exploring other different areas as well, whether that's with I'm really exploring different options, not just
Uh,
teaching, but also just helping out in different ways.
oh, great. Just think about what sparked all this, but can you share or recall a moment that specifically sparked you wanting to learn more about biology or teaching? Like, what is that spark moment that would excite somebody?
Sure, great question. Yeah, I would say, let's start with biology. I would think that I would say in high school, actually, when I learned especially about genetics and just how that worked out, like either in the human body or how different traits like are passed on from generation to generation, that really kindled some interest with me. I was like, oh, what happens, next? Like the curiosity on what that can influence in people's lives, basically. So that really sparked my interest, kind of like that knowledge and exploration. Even in college, there were some classes that talked about the brain. And
Uh-huh.
so like neuroscience, I was like, wow, there are actually so many different things we don't know about the brain. And when I learned about things that I haven't heard about, even like different um, they call there was a class called brain myths, and so there are things that like people thought were like true about the brain, but it actually not. And so, but what I did learn actually from about the brain is that there's something called neurogenesis, and you can actually create brain cells like through exercise. So that was really interesting, and that's like one
Wow.
thing to combat Alzheimer's disease. So I thought that was really interesting too. That really piqued my interest into that area as well. And then when we talk about teaching, I remember a time when I was overseas teaching in Mongolia and being able to just share we shared like different English words, but one of them was about just like different holidays. And I remember just the students and how they were excited to learn about it. And they were like trying to practice and they were still so happy at the end. And I think that was something that also, I guess, sparked my interest with like teaching.
Wow. Thank you for sharing. Yeah, more brain cells, well, through exercise. Yeah, that's very motivating. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Mhm.
appreciate that. Need to exercise here as well.
I
Yeah,
I need to as well. I think
yeah.
yeah, that's just something everybody, it's like everyone wants to exercise more, I would say.
Yes, definitely. We would like to add on to you're being in different countries, but just curious, how many languages and what languages do you know?
Yes, I actually so my first language was English, but I grew up in a home where we spoke Tagalog, which is like Filipino as well. So I understand that pretty fluently. I wouldn't say I would speak fluently, but I do understand it fluently. I did also take Spanish in high school, but I was able to use that when I visited um, Spanish countries, but like specifically Mexico. I know a little bit of Chinese and a little bit of Japanese too, because I took that in college as well. And so that's the range of the languages that I know.
Oh, that's amazing. Uh, um, yeah, just learning the different languages, yeah, it takes time and just I'm just amazed where like people who are like more than like bilingual or like trilingual or even more. Yeah, this really shows like yeah how like you can speak like to different people around the world and it shows like even with how should I say it, like IQ and learning languages, I think it's really correlated. So yeah, very smart here, Bernadette. Yeah. Um, Wanted to continue as well with the music education. Do you teach a specific instrument for and what do you usually teach?
Yes, I do teach piano and I've learned since I was really young, but it was on and off. I definitely started when I was 5, but I remember it being really hard. So I remember telling my parents I didn't want to play after it might have been like a couple months, but then I got back into it in middle school. And then from there, I played, in the high school orchestra, I played for church, different places. So I was able to teach since then, since I was in college, just teaching many different students. And then, so piano is one of them, and then also violin. I have learned that since I was in 4th grade and have taught violin also since I was in college as well.
Thank you. That's yeah, many instruments. Taking a step back, we how Bernadette and I met our was at the local church. So Bernadette is a great pianist. She does sing as well. I play the bass guitar. So yeah, at certain services we like share the stage and worship at the local church, so, which is great. Thank you for tuning in to Freedom at the Top by Eagle Summit Equity. Have you considered how your money can work for you? Explore more about financial and passive investing on your terms. Enjoy freedom on your time with family and life. Visit eaglesummitequity.com today.
Wanted to look further as a fellow musician. I really think that there's a correlation with knowing your craft, your instrument, and working with others. Um, Maybe dig in like what I guess one or up to three like top key traits you think is important as a musician, learning to be a great musician, even like on a symphonic level, professional level, and how it correlates with like with life or like if you're going into a career or even starting a business. I really think there's correlation, but please share what you think would be greatest values through the learning process as a musician.
Yeah, great question. I think the first thing that comes up when I think about, yeah, being a great musician or having those qualities, yeah, even as a teacher, I realize I'm still learning. So having that kind of mentality coming through, that kind of perspective that to still learn, to keep learning, that you'll never really like learn everything, even as a musician, learning all the different skills. I would say there's even a lot of things I'm still learning with musician, even after playing, yeah, more than 10, 15 years.
Mhm.
I thought I learned all the skills, but then in actuality, like, oh, there are still things that I can improve upon, or there's still things that I need to like research or think. So one example of that would be like definitely ear training. I would say
Mhm.
as learning piano and violin classically, I was definitely trained to, focus on the notes and focus on those different things, which really helps, in an orchestra setting or um, in those kinds of settings, like where you read the notes. But
Yes.
in other ways, so for example, when you're like playing within a band or something like that, um, I realize it's not just about the notes, and sometimes you won't have notes at all. And that's
Mhm.
something that I had to learn actually during high school, was to work with people who have just, just hear it and they play it, or look at different ways, to play the notes. So not just the notes, but for example, like chords and just
Yes.
these letters and different systems. So there's like different systems that other people know. So yeah, just learning to be, to be a continued student, I would say, is like number one, having that kind of like perspective and know that you'll continue learning, however far you go with your skills and your process as a musician. And yeah, as I was sharing, like I would say, yeah, even um, being open to all these different systems too. I think it's like really easy just to be like, oh, I think, yeah, the way that I look at music or play music is, yeah, just the only way, right? But then
Mhm.
actually, no, there's so many different ways. So also being open to play those different ways. And I think those are the two things I'm thinking of right now.
Uh-huh.
I don't know if there's a third one. But yeah, those are, those different qualities I would say to, yeah, becoming a good musician. Of course, there's the skills. There we go. I
Yes.
would say that's the third one. You do need to learn how to either like learn those kinds of systems, right? Learn those notes or things, whatever setting context you're in. Um, Put in the time and energy and practice. There you go. That's a huge thing too, actually. Not only in I remember during orchestra or for like my private teaching, and my teachers, they're always like, yeah, keep practicing. That's always something that they're saying. So yeah, practice makes perfect, but I don't think we'll ever be like perfectly perfect, 100%,
Yes.
but to be the closest, there, I think that's, it's just a great, goal to, see, to know that, oh yeah, we can just keep getting better. And yeah, that's how I see it.
No, thank you for sharing, Bernadette. Yeah, I really agree where, yes, always be learning and open-minded and flexible, and is literally going to learn the skills very diligently and continuously. That's really important, can be applicable anywhere.
Mhm.
Um,
Right.
uh, what would like to go into like anywhere in your life or within education or music? um, sometimes when you face challenges, how do you stay motivated all through any of these events that happen in your life, like involving challenges?
Definitely. Yeah, that's something that, yes, in life, we can't really get away from these different, struggles or challenges in life. And I would say, yeah, there was a time when um even like teaching became something that was just really difficult with students or either with the structure or wherever I was with teaching before. And I realized for me at least something that has helped me keep going
Uh-huh.
was like my goals and like kind of the big picture on like why I was doing what I was doing, so like why I was teaching. And one of the reasons that helped me, yeah, keep going was knowing that, yeah, I was making a difference in these students' lives, and also for me in my own journey, like faith has been really important. So knowing that, yeah, God has been there with me in my whole life to support me and also to show care and love to the students, I think that has really helped me keep going. Um, yeah, one example too, I would say is I remember, yeah, teaching at one point. I was consulting almost 30 families
Hmm.
through the college admissions process with my previous company. And I would say it was a great, opportunity and a great time, but it was really difficult, kind of carrying the load or the burden of all these different families
Yes, yes.
and being there for like either questions and again just kind of navigating the system through with them. And it's yeah, it gets really stressful at times and really um yeah, there's just a lot of um just fear, I guess, I see in my students too. It's like they don't know about the future, but then being like encouraged and motivated in my own life, in my own faith. And then from that, um, especially even like I realize even like knowing how to like take care of myself and self-care so that I can care for others or help others through that. I think that was really important too. So yeah, all these different avenues or ways to continue to be motivated or continue to help other people. But yeah, it's definitely been a journey, and I'm still learning how to navigate that too.
Definitely. Thank you for sharing. Yes, definitely with uh, being motivated through even back by faith, to have a strong foundation, and just helping others where, yeah, they do seem like either stressed through the situation. Um, can we dig in further? Like, okay, you're dealing with families, not just one person, the student, the parents, maybe even other relatives, or you're dealing with other stakeholders at the schools, maybe even administrators as well. How do you keep your composure like in the moment? What how can sorry about my words. How
Yeah.
can yeah how can you keep composure dealing with and handling um the emotions with all the parties? Like, what would you share with the audience that would be great to handle the moment?
Definitely. Yeah, great question. Yeah, that's something that, yeah, I was really thankful to have examples and colleagues, in during that time to just show me examples of how to navigate through that. It's going to be different for everyone, I would say. There are some overlap too. But for me, it definitely starts from before the meeting and knowing
Yes.
um, and having that preparation actually, because coming in, to into a meeting or into a workshop, into a seminar, when I'm dealing with different people or different clients, I realize that you know there are common questions, there are
Uh-huh.
actually things that we can prepare for and anticipate. So thankfully we had basically, and I did this for myself too, but we already kind of had kind of like frequently asked questions and knowing and being prepared on what they're going to like ask. And I had kind of like a plan, like, yeah, this is most likely going to happen, or these are most likely the questions they're going to have, and then just being prepared for that. I think that was really helpful in having a plan, knowing where to go, and knowing also, like, even if I don't know the answer to the question, or if I'm not sure how to answer, I can always refer back to either like another colleague, or I
Uh-huh.
can say, oh, like, I don't know the answer to the question, but I can get back to you on that, and being okay with that too. And so, yeah, being prepared beforehand is really helpful. And then in the moment, I know like some emotions come up for some students or some family members too, especially when it comes to either like schooling or like, the future, because that is such like a big thing for people.
Yes.
We really want to know, like, okay, and really prepare well for the future. So in that moment, I would say I'm able to, with my own like background and my own personality, just listen to what people have to say and try my best to, okay, this is just what I know, at this time right now. But being there for them and knowing, okay, this is what I can do, and this is maybe not what, like, I can't, know everything in the future.
Yeah.
Like, I wish I could tell them, exactly what was going to happen, but just to be like honest with them, being honest and knowing that, hey, like, this is all the information we have, but that's it, and being okay with that. That's something that I was learning through the process, because sometimes I just want to, I wish I had all the answers. Like, I wish I can, um, give students more clarity on their future, but that's something that I
Yes.
can't do, and having that boundary basically. Mhm.
Thank you. Yeah, definitely great nuggets of wisdom and experience where, yeah, you do share, okay, you do have people you can rely on. You
Mhm.
can also let the people you work with, the students or family, that, okay, yeah, we'll get back to you. And then just your transparency keeps them calm. So that's great experiences. May you share, okay, you grown to this point where you're dealing with admissions, uh, have a great career in your music education. Um, may you take a time to recall, okay, who really shaped you like in a great way? Can be like multiple people, either personal, professional, and how can that help others? Like, how would you share like what they taught you?
Yeah, great question. Yeah, there are definitely like multiple people in my life, that come to mind, when you ask that question. I think I would say it started in high school, and there's different mentors in my life, I realized, that really showed me life skills and also just how to work in an environment, and encourage me in very like stressful situations. So the first person like I thought of was actually my teacher, but also youth pastor in high school, where, yeah, there were things about life that, yeah, I wasn't sure about, either like graduating, like different transitions in my time, even different knowledge, um, if it's like concerning the Bible, or like how to like deal with like relationships, or how to communicate with other people. So I think that was really influential. He was really influential in my life, because he not only showed me the encouragement, but an example as well in his own family, with his wife, with his kids. Um, and I was actually with him both to on a trip to Mexico, where we had both kind of like, um, we visited an orphanage, kind of like a teaching kind of thing too. And then also in the Philippines, where we did a feeding program, a medical program, and also like a teaching program. It's kind of like these different trips and opportunities. And I remember being with this man and seeing just how humble he was to serve other people. Even as a leader, he would be honest, transparent, and still like serve other people, with, yeah, just with his time, his energy, and logistics too. He was very great at
Uh-huh.
like all these different details and detail oriented. So that's something that really inspired me to serve other people and realize, wow, like if this person really cares on how he treats people and how he communicates with people, that's something that I wish I could do as well. So that was something, yeah, really that really affected my life and how to work with people or treat people. And then I would say as well, when I was like working in China, in Mongolia with different like English or teaching programs, there was a woman who also really treated her students with respect and kindness and was able to be there for students even when it wasn't part of her job description. Sometimes, you know, just teaching English, you know, you could just do that straight up. But then for her, it was also, oh yeah, I could like listen to these students and even still like spend time with them outside of the class. Even if that wasn't part of her job description, she was able to be generous with her time in that way too. So I really appreciated that. And yeah, those two people are the first two people, but I would say that there are so many more people that have influenced my life for the better in such a positive way that I could see these examples that has helped me through either, you know, all the different places I was at with working or um, in life and in church and with my family too. So there you go. Yeah, that's my
Thank
answer.
thank you for sharing. Yeah, definitely great um wisdom from people that shaped your life. And yeah, you do definitely convey them in a great way. Let's get into the fun round of questions. So just let's have fun. First question, what is your favorite food or restaurant?
Favorite food is so hard. I think the first thing that comes up is I like Korean food, Japanese food. So those would be my favorites, I would say. I don't know what restaurant, but honestly, like a cheap and great place to go. And you know, the first thing that comes up to my head is honestly Mitsuwa because they're a
It's
grocery store, but there's great options in Mitsuwa. So there you
yes,
go.
definitely. A great question, great location, and yeah, they do have great food there.
Mhm.
Next question, what would you advise your younger self?
Ooh, advise my younger self. I would say just to keep going. Like I think that's what I tell myself now. But like, yeah, not be afraid and like to keep, you know, like wading through the water, like keep going even when things are hard. Yeah, that's the first thing that comes to mind. Yeah.
Thank you. Next question. If you could have a deep conversation with anyone, a historical figure or fictional figure, who would it be?
Oh man, so crazy. Yeah, with a historical figure. Okay, the first person that comes to mind is just Princess Diana. I just want to know like her own like yeah, I would just want to know like what's going on in her like how it was like with the royal family
Mhm.
or what she was dealing with and how she keeps going because yeah, I just yeah, have like listened to some interviews, but I knew that she probably has a lot of wisdom and insight that I would want to, you know, ask her.
Wow, great person. Funny, my mom really follows her as well. Uh,
Oh,
yeah,
wow. Yeah, she's really popular and she was really influential, you know, I think with a
yes.
lot of people. So I would want to know what she thought about certain things.
Thank you. Next one. If you could learn a new talent, what would it be?
New talent. Honestly, like I would want to like with my own talents, I would want them to be like better by or improve. But if it had to be a totally new talent, maybe just I would say something like athletic with sports, maybe being really good at tennis. Because
Tennis,
I
nice.
remember learning as a young person, but I wasn't really good.
Thank you. That was a fun round of questions. Hope you enjoyed them. For future opportunities or just to reach out to Bernadette, where can people reach you?
Yes, they can reach me at my LinkedIn. And so I think the link will be, you know, provided.
Yes.
But the yeah, just feel free and contact me through my LinkedIn. And yeah, I would say even email too. My email might be there, but yeah, if not, it's just bernadette.saldana@gmail.com. So that's me.
Thank you, Bernadette. Again, thank you, Bernadette, for your time to share your wisdom, your experiences, and different parts of your life to reach peak potential on Freedom at the Top. And you will have more information about Bernadette. And thank you for being on the show and enjoy your weekend.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for tuning into Freedom at the Top. If you enjoyed today's conversation, be sure to subscribe for more inspiring content. Feel free to leave us a review and share the show. Until next time, keep striving for greatness and aim for freedom at the top.